This entire year, I've been experimenting with different, like adding in salads and fruit and stuff. I didn't expect it to work so quickly.
How long does this thing last for?
So it's a 45-day protocol, but you take the pills. Well, no, but listen, you don't take the pills the whole time.
We have Jenny here. I am so excited. And look what is coming out soon. Your book. We can talk about that later, but I just want everybody to see it right now. And I'll have it linked below. Okay, first of all, everybody knows that we're friends. In case you didn't know, like we were actually friends and in
Legit
real life.
friends.
Yes. So it's always fun to chat on here too. But you are a self-proclaimed data junkie and you're always doing some like crazy experiment. I was going to ask what experiment you're doing, but then you said something else off camera. Let's just mention it all. What do you have going on right now?
Okay, so I'm on day 2 of a Parasite cleanse and I'm so tired, like so wiped out. I had a little bit of a headache last night. So I think it's die-off symptoms. So something's inside of me. It's
So you're
working.
evicting your tapeworm and it's sucking the life out of you?
I have no idea. So okay, this cleanse is 2 things. It's Candida and parasites at the same time because they go hand in hand. The Candida kind of protects the parasites in your gut from your immune system being able to find them. And the parasites have this exoskeleton around them that is like impervious to like digestive juices and your immune system and all this stuff. So the parasite cleanse that I'm taking, these pills twice a day. And what that does, it's like prescription grade of something that dissolves the exoskeletons of the parasites. And it also at the same time kind of dissolves that Candida biofilm. So it starts to kill them. And then your immune system can come in and kill them all. But when that happens, you start feeling like crap. It's called die-off symptoms. So you can have like headache, fatigue, constipation or diarrhea. I haven't had any of that yet. I just feel like so tired and I had a bit of a headache. And then you do this like colloidal silver in your mouth to help kill whatever you're making available to kill now. And then there's this like detox powder you take at night that has like bentonite clay and the binders that kind of bind everything up and then get everything out of you. So yeah, I didn't expect it to work so quickly. I mean, it's working. But
Do you see things in your stool?
No, not yet.
Okay, but you're supposed to, right? Like you'll
I
see
don't
your
know.
friends.
I don't know. I hope so.
I'm gross like that too.
I want to see it. Well,
And
because, I've tried, I did a liver cleanse. That was
I was
awesome.
just going to ask about that too. Like I saw in your story, like chunks were coming out.
Yeah, it's gallstones and liver stones, bile things. For that one, you take pills for 2 weeks and then you do a flush with olive oil and citrus juice. And you take a bunch of these pills that basically like clear out your system. Like you go have diarrhea for a bit and then you're just like pooping liquid. And with that, then you start clearing your gallstones. And it was weird. I didn't expect it because it was just water coming out plus the little stones.
Like when you have kidney stones, like you pee in like a thing. I can't even think
Okay.
of like, did you have to go to the bathroom so it catches it like a filter?
Oh no, I mean I just put on gloves and like
I'm interested in the parasite cleanse because from what I hear, like we all have them and we could all benefit from it. I actually bought a tincture, however you say it,
yeah.
probably like a year or two ago. It was like a black walnut thing. I actually got it for Archer and then never used it. But now I'm like, okay, maybe like I'll try it. But I feel like there's probably like this was supposed to be like gentle for kids. I'm sure like I could probably benefit from like an aggressive one, like what you're
Right.
doing and like take
Yeah.
pills. How long does this thing last for?
So it's a 45-day protocol, but you take the
What?
pills. Well, no, but listen, you don't take the pills the whole time. So you do 5 days of the pills and everything, and then nothing for 10 days and let the die off happen, let your body get readjusted. Then you do the pills again for 5 days, then 10 days off, 5 days, 10 days off. So you repeat the cycle 3 times. That's this protocol. There's so many different protocols out there that you can do and different supplements and things. This is just accelerated health products, accelerated supplements is what I'm using for my iodine. And that's what I did for the liver cleanse. So now I'm just doing the parasite cleanse.
Okay.
Because, with the Hashimoto stuff, there could be so many factors contributing to it. And so I'm going down the list. Liver cleanse, check. I'm going to do another one of those in like a month. Parasite cleanse, working on that. So,
Oh, I
just
can't wait to watch and hear how it went because I would be interested in doing that for sure.
yeah.
Okay, well, other than these little weird experiments, are you doing anything experimental with your food right now, or how are you eating?
Right now I'm back to strict carnivore. So this entire year, I've been experimenting with different, like adding in salads and fruit and stuff. I did the sugar diet in June, for 8 days. That's all I could do. It was terrible. I gained like 6 pounds, and then it sent me down a carb spiral for a couple of weeks. So food wise, strict carnivore again. I did just do a raw dairy experiment because, Miller's Biofarm at Meat Stock, I connected with them, and I always hear from people like raw dairy is not inflammatory. But for me with Hashimoto's, I cannot do conventional dairy. I get my like eyes get puffy, my joints hurt, I feel like crap. So, but I love it. I love cheese. I love liquid dairy. I wish I could include it. So I partnered with them to have them send me a bunch of stuff so I could test it. So I tested my antibodies before and after, my thyroid antibodies, to see if there was any rise. And then of course, physical symptoms, I would have known right away. That video is coming out, I think, next month, but it was good. I can do raw dairy. So
Really?
that is not just a claim that the raw dairy people say. It's legit true. It's not inflammatory like conventional is. It
That's
was wild.
amazing. No,
I know.
that's really good because I mean, I think I do fine with it. I don't know that I have issues, but I do hear if you have like Hashis or something that, yeah, you want to stay away from dairy, but that's
Yeah.
amazing that it didn't affect you. I love
Yeah.
their stuff. So thank you for testing that out because now I don't have to. No.
Now you can just eat it. Yes, I'm going to eat more of it as well. But yeah, that was a fun one. And then I've been doing a lot of like supplement stuff. So I'm working on a mega dosing creatine experiment right now, and I'm doing a methylene blue experiment right now.
Okay, I haven't gone down the blue rabbit hole, but creatine, it's so funny you mentioned that. So I bought a bag years ago. I took it once and then it was in my cabinet, forgot about it. So it expired. So just like a month or two ago, one of Jeff's friends was here and we were talking about it. I'm like, I'm gonna order a bag right now. Okay. I took it once and now it's been months and it's sitting. I need to like, I hate stuff sitting on my counter, but I think for that, I need it sitting on my counter so I see it. But the good news is it's super cheap. So it's not like I'm
Oh my God.
wasting a $60 bag, but I
Yeah.
want to be more consistent with that because not only, to help my guns over here, but they say like it helps with cognitive function. And I feel like
It
as a
can.
sleep deprived mom, I need all like the cognitive help I can get. How long have you been doing it? Do you notice a difference
Like two
yet?
months, yeah, I've noticed a difference, but I'm mega dosing it. So if you want the cognitive benefits, you have to do a large dose. So the standard is 5 grams, just one scoop. That'll be good enough for muscles and things like that. But if you want to do cognitive related things, 20 grams. So
Oh, okay.
I do 10 grams in each of the first two waters I make of the day. I was just gonna say I have noticed a difference.
Okay. Is there any harm? Like, can you overdose on this stuff? Like,
No.
is 20 okay for everybody to take?
Yeah, I think so for most people. Yeah, it's one of the most well-researched supplements, creatine monohydrate, on the market. There's a lot of really good science behind it, and you really can't overdose. You can't overdose it.
Okay. I'm writing it down because I won't
Do it.
remember to go get it after this.
So there's a couple of ways you can start. You can either just take 5 grams a day for a couple of weeks, or you can do a loading phase where you take like 10, 15, 20 grams per day for a few weeks to just kind of get it into your muscles. And then people would back down to 5. But if you want to continue with the cognitive improvements and things, you stick at 20.
Okay.
Some people complain about like gastrointestinal stuff with this. So that's why I say work your way up slow. I never had any gastrointestinal symptoms at all.
Okay. And then I
So
also hear for people that are maybe like not addicted to the scale, but watch that closely that the scale could go up maybe
yeah.
just from like water weight. So don't let
Yep.
that freak you out.
Exactly. Yeah, a couple of pounds. And it's literally just because there's more water in your muscles. It's not fat. So don't freak out.
Yeah.
It's not fat. So yeah. I
Amazing.
That's one that I use every single day. I do my iodine, I do creatine, and I do electrolytes in my cup.
Okay, iodine is another one that I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. And I see a
Yeah.
lot of people be like, yes, we need it. And then I was watching one of Dr. Elizabeth Bright's videos, and I saw a lot of comments saying that they tried like what she suggests and they didn't feel well. So I haven't
Yeah.
played with it yet. I'm assuming, having benefits from it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People with Hashimoto's need to take a ton of iodine. I take like 75 drops a day.
Oh, aren't normal people? I feel like I hear like one drop or something.
Oh no, that's nothing. So here's the thing. There's a couple of caveats to iodine. First, you got to work your way up slow. Second, you have to make sure the iodine that you're using is meant for internal consumption, first and foremost. And second, that it's really pure because a lot of them are contaminated with heavy metals. So that can be one reason why people don't feel good. Another thing you have to do is you have to take unrefined salt with it because when you take iodine, what it's doing, it goes into your system. You need iodine. Iodine is an essential mineral for everybody. But we live in a really toxic world. So other toxic halides, so chloride, fluoride, and halide and bromide. Specifically, the bromide fits perfectly into our iodine receptors. So it's sitting in there hanging out, but when iodine comes in, the iodine kicks it out. But when it does that, it can toxify your system for a bit while you're clearing it. The salt that you take, the unrefined salt you take, helps to clear out the toxic halides. So if you're not taking salt and you're taking iodine, you could feel like crap. It's a detox. That's what it is. So that's one of the reasons. But yeah, everybody should be taking iodine. We just don't get any from our diets.
Okay.
And with all the bromide in our furniture, clothing, soaps, everything, it's just always trying to take up those iodine receptors.
I'm going to write that down too. Thanks for
I'm
the
doing
free
yeah.
coaching session here.
I'm doing a whole video on iodine because it's one of the most misunderstood things. Like I've seen things where it's like nobody should take iodine. It's terrible for you, but that doesn't make any sense because thyroid, T3 and T4, the 3 and the 4 indicate the amount, the number of iodine molecules on each one. So on T3, there's 3 iodine molecules. T4, there's 4.
Didn't know
so
that.
why would iodine be bad? It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And apparently, like years ago, there was a doctor that put it out there that like people with Hashimoto shouldn't be taking iodine and blah, 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 but they were mistaken. But then that was taken as like, that's the gold standard now. And that's why you kind of hear that parroted through the decades. But there is a right and a wrong way to take iodine.
Okay. Is there a brand
Yep.
that you recommend?
Yeah. I've been using same thing with the Parasite cleanse and the liver cleanse, this Accelerating. It's from Accelerated Health Products, Accelerated Supplements. This one is like a 2% solution. So you'll hear like Lugol's 5%. Lugol's, all that refers to, it's not a brand. Lugol's is, Lugol was a person who discovered this particular solution to do with potassium iodide and potassium iodine together in certain ratios. So that's why it's called Lugol's. It's his invention, that solution, those ratios. You know, that's important, but like this is a 2%. And on here it says, you know, do 1 to 3 drops on an empty stomach 3 times a day, work your way up to 25 drops in water orally 3 times a day. So.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Okay.
I know it is a lot.
Yeah. I thought everyone was just taking like a couple drops. So 75
I think most
wild.
people are only taking a few drops. I take a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed a difference because I ran out a few days ago, well, a week ago, and I didn't have it for 5 days. And I was like more tired.
Okay.
It definitely impacted my fatigue levels.
Interesting. That's fascinating. Okay. Well, back to like the food stuff and how you're eating and whatnot. You actually put out a video, or maybe even 2, a bit ago about lipotoxicity. And I think that's so fascinating. I had never heard that word, but surprise, surprise. I mean, I don't the science is not my expertise, but I feel like a big topic in the carnivore space is like the macros and if you're higher fat or lower fat or, finding that Goldilocks point. So do you want to touch on that for us?
Yeah, sure. I have 4 videos on it now. The very first one was about my husband. The whole reason we went down this rabbit hole was because of him. He and I started carnivore at the same time. And after 18 months, I'd lost almost 50 pounds. He had lost nothing. And his metabolic health was declining. His blood pressure was going up, his glucose, fasting insulin, HSCRP, all of these markers were terrible. And we were just like, what the hell is going on? And the standard advice back then, this was in June of 24, just eat more fat, eat more fat, eat more fat. So he did that and he got worse. So we were just like, what the hell is going on? So we did an experiment on him. What a surprise. Once a month, we did a monthly blood work, DEXA scan, and did continuous glucose monitoring on him. And we just went back to what worked best for him, which is really long water fasts, some exercise, strength training, and zone 2 cardio, and just a normal carnivore diet. I think he was probably eating like 70% fat to 30% protein. So still a high fat carnivore diet. We did that for 8 months. We were able to get his visceral fat down by like 4 pounds. We were able to drop his weight by, I think he got down to 217. Maybe he was at 270. So wow. Yeah, a significant weight drop, and his markers started to improve. So we presented this data at the Collaborative Science Conference in February of this year, Dave Feldman's conference. And afterwards, Dr. Nadir Ali came up to me and he said, I think what your husband was suffering from was lipotoxicity. So Dr. Ali is an interventional cardiologist in Houston, I believe. And I'd seen some of his videos before because his content is awesome. He doesn't create content very often anymore, but he has some videos on it. So I was like peripherally aware of lipotoxicity, but I hadn't connected the dots between like my husband and that. So when I talked to him, I was like, huh, that makes sense. So then I had him on the podcast and we broke it down. I asked all my questions, because that's one of the great things about being able to interview experts is like I have a list of questions for each person that I specifically want the answer to. So we broke it down and I got a really good understanding of it. And then a couple weeks later, Craig Emmerich got a hold of me because he and Maria see this often in their coaching practice as well. So I had him on and he talked a little bit more about fat metabolism and all that stuff. And then I took everything I learned from those two and I condensed it down into like a 20-minute lipotoxicity video so that people wouldn't have to watch, all that content. Between that and my husband's video was like 3 hours of content. It's really fascinating. Most people that go on a carnivore diet or an ultra low carb diet, they see improvements. They lose weight. They see improvements in their fasting glucose and fasting insulin. Their blood pressure normalizes. Everything is good. For a small subset of people, which I thought was small. It's actually a lot bigger than I thought, but not huge. It's still pretty small. They do not see improvements going on a high fat diet. They get worse. And that's because they have lipotoxicity. And what that is they've met their personal fat threshold. So their fat cells are overstuffed. They cannot store any more fat in their fat cells. So it stays out in their bloodstream. That's why you get the elevated triglycerides. That's just fat in your bloodstream. But it can't stay there. Your body's very intelligent. You don't want that much fat in your bloodstream. So it starts to deposit it in your abdominal cavity, like visceral fat around your organs, on your organs and stuff. And fat does not belong there. It is highly inflammatory. And then that just begins a whole cascade of other things. So for them, they've become lipotoxic because of years of eating a standard American diet, So when they come over to carnivore and they're like not seeing improvements, they think, oh, carnivore has caused this. Typically, it's from how they ate for the decades previous. But there's a quick fix to it. It's not a death sentence as long as you know that it's happening. There's some specific clues. Not losing weight or even gaining weight even on an ultra low carb diet. You have elevated glucose, elevated triglycerides, low HDL, GGT, which is a liver function number. It's elevated because that's fat on your liver. You can test adiponectin. That's something that is in your fat cells. And if your fat cells are healthy, I believe it's low. If it's high, that means your fat cells aren't healthy. But that's kind of a niche test. That's expensive. So I don't even test that one when we do Goran's numbers. And then visceral fat. If you have high levels of visceral fat, so like over 2 pounds, those are all really, really good indicators that you have met your personal fat threshold and that you need to do something a little different. So basically, the fix is just lowering the dietary fat intake a bit. On a carnivore diet, that just means going from like 70-30 to like 60-40 or 65-35. It really doesn't take much. And with Goran, we were able to move the scale without doing a lower fat carnivore diet because we didn't know we were supposed to do that because we didn't know he had lipotoxicity. And then there was fasting. So as much fasting as you can throw in, if you can do like a water fast, 24 to 36 hour water fast once a week, that can be really, really helpful. And then strength training and zone 2 cardio. Zone 2 cardio is like fat burning. It's not hard. Like you're barely raising your blood, your beats per minute, your heart rate, but it's enough to start to burn the fat. And then the fat starts to go down, your fat cells shrink, and then everything starts to kind of go back to the way it should be. You lose the visceral fat, all your markers start to, go back to where they're supposed to be. And at that point, once you have fixed it, you can start to raise the dietary fat again, but just pay attention to your biomarkers, Yeah, but without testing, we only would have known that he wasn't losing weight and that his blood pressure was elevated because he tested that. But like without blood tests or DEXA, we would have no idea. He probably would have still been doing what he's doing and had a heart attack or something. Who knows?
That's scary.
I know.
If you have it, do you have to check off all those boxes? Like,
no, I don't think so.
Because I'm like, maybe I have that, but my blood pressure is great. My triglycerides are fine.
Yeah.
But I carry most of my extra weight in my stomach. And that's why it's kind of frustrating when people are like, don't worry about the last 10 to 15. It's like, no, I do, because having this fat on your stomach like isn't healthy. It's not just a vanity thing.
Well, but you're talking about like just the outside fat though. Have you done a DEXA scan to see
I
the
haven't.
because the subcutaneous fat on the outside, we hate it. It looks like crap, but that stuff isn't as bad for you. The
Okay.
You want to look for a DEXA scan to see what visceral fat you have inside your body
Gotcha.
around your organs. So like I think the most important markers would be triglycerides and your fasting glucose and your fasting insulin. Those are really great indicators. If your triglycerides are under 100, your fasting glucose under 100, and your fasting insulin in the single digits, if you're talking about US numbers, so like 9 or less, you're probably not lipotoxic.
Okay.
Lipotoxicity tends to happen to people, well, for Caucasians, it's a little different because we have a higher personal fat threshold. For like South Asian populations, they have a lower personal fat threshold genetically. So for them, it doesn't take as much, their fat cells can't store as much fat. And that's different for different ethnicities around the world. So that's why you can see like type 2 diabetes in people of South Asian descent that are relatively thin. They've already met their personal fat threshold though. But like for a Caucasian man, like my husband, he was like 400 pounds years ago, so he could pack on the fat without having, I mean, he did have some of the markers, but like it took a long time for him to start to really become lipotoxic.
Okay.
So yeah, but you can start to kind of see if things are creeping in that direction. Like if people are eating really high fat carnivore and their glucose, like their morning glucose is high, I'm just like, well, back off the fat a bit. Just try it. What's it going to harm? And that tends to help.
Okay. And that's a good point about getting the DEXA, or even I guess that's why Dr. Sean O'Mara talks about the MRIs, because what I just assumed is if I see fat, then that's not good because it's also inside. But I didn't realize and I feel kind of
Yep.
dumb saying this out loud. I
No,
didn't realize
not
it
at
was like two
all.
separate.
No, 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 no. Most people don't realize that, and that's okay. We're all here to learn. So yeah, the annoying fat that we're trying to lose on the outside of our body, that's actually not that bad for you. It's the visceral fat that is inside your body that's not supposed to be there. That's the bad stuff. Right now, I have like 0.67 pounds of visceral fat, which is really, really, really good. You
Okay.
want to have like less than a pound, ideally.
Okay. I'm gonna get a
Yep.
DEXA. I've never done
Do
that.
it. I love Dexas.
And I should have. When I was at Hack Your Health, they had it.
Dude,
Jeff got
so
one.
cheap. So cheap.
There's a place
They're
by me
like
that does them.
$40. So
Okay.
at Hack Your Health they were. I
Okay.
pay $75 a scan near me.
Okay.
So
I think that's the same here too.
yeah,
Okay. I have a whole list of things I need to do after this. Thank you, Jenny.
anytime.
Okay, let's ask some like little, not rapid fire totally, but just some like
Sure.
lighter things. So, what's in your fridge?
Oh, right now a lot of meat. I've got like some steak tips and some chicken tenderloins from Butcher Box thawing because we're trying to come up with like a chicken tender recipe. Some ground beef because that's what I'm eating for dinner. And then I don't know, some fruit for the boys, a lot of condiments. My fridge sucks. I don't have anything fun in there right now. Oh, I have some broth. I made some meat stock because broth is part of my Hashimoto's protocol, so I just made that the other day.
Okay, awesome. And your kids are more animal based, right? Like you were
Right.
even on a talk show late recently talking about that. So what's a typical day of eating for your kids look like?
So we start the day off with some kind of meat like sausage or bacon. Sometimes they just want a cold beef hot dog. They're little weirdos. Can I have a cold hot dog, please? I'm like, yeah,
That's
sure,
easy.
whatever.
You're like, yes,
Yeah,
please.
I know. So we do that, and then I'll do like some organic applesauce packets or something, or apples and strawberries. But like Harry doesn't like fruit, Max does.
Really?
So I'll just lay all that out, or like yogurt bites. So I just put it all out, and they just eat what they want to eat. They then kind of graze on that around lunchtime if they haven't finished it, and then they eat dinner is just like they'll eat some of my steak. Sometimes I'll make like an organic mac and cheese or something. They basically eat meat and fruit. That's and dairy. A lot of milk. So much milk. It's ridiculous.
Do you ever get them like junk food every so often? Do they ever like go out for a donut or
Right.
pizza or ice cream?
Yeah, so when we're traveling in the Airstream, we will stop at McDonald's and get them chicken nuggets and a small fry once in a blue moon. And if we don't have any of the snacky stuff in our house because I will eat it, uh, zero self-control. So no, not at our house, but like at my mom's or at my mother-in-law's, they have goldfish and a couple of little things like that. She has these like little Serbian cookies that she'll give them that are like they're nothing. They're like little little shortbread cookies. They're nothing
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, they'll have that over there. And I want them to have that. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be special. They're at grandma's, you know. But the vast majority of the time, whole real food.
That's good. That's kind of like the
Yeah.
approach we take. And,
Yeah.
once in a while, let them have some things, give them that, power and control to make that decision. And so that way you're not always saying, no, no, no. I feel like that could backfire too. So we're just going to poison them in moderation, you know?
Well, I mean, just a little tiny bit that our kids are healthy. They're
Yeah.
metabolically healthy. So, like, I want them to stay metabolically flexible and be able to go back and forth from glucose to fat metabolism. I lived, 4 decades of my life and ate horribly for a lot of it. So, like, I did the damage to myself. They've been eating really clean since birth, so they don't have to deal with all of the consequences that I had to deal with my metabolic health. So, like, they can eat a little bit of junk. That's okay. But like Halloween's coming up, I give them like 3 or 4 pieces of the candy. They eat that. We give the rest away, at their birthday. We'll do a cake. But the last 3 or 4 years, they don't even want to eat the cake. So it's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I spending this money?
Yeah.
But yeah, every once in a while, that's when it's supposed to be enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What advice would you give to pre-carnivore Jenny? And how long ago was that? Like, how long have you been
Almost
carnivore?
3 years.
Okay. So was
Yeah.
it after the birth of your twins then that you
Yeah.
started?
Yeah. Because I was still so fat. I gained so much weight, Courtney. I was 173 when I got pregnant, so I was already overweight. And then I gained 70 pounds. So
Did
the
you?
day that I delivered, I was 242 pounds. I was miserable. I've never been that big in my life. And I lost like 25 right away between placentas and babies and fluids and everything. But I was still 220 when I started trying to lose weight. So yeah, I started a year after they were born, and I still was like at 195.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
started around that height too,
yeah.
or that weight as well. So
December
what?
2022. So the advice I would give to myself is ease into it. I would have eased into it. I went cold turkey and I suffered. I had like 6 weeks of what I thought was keto flu, but it was actually that plus oxalate dumping because I was
Mm,
eating so many high oxalate fruits and vegetables before I started. Like so many, Courtney. I had a sweet potato every day, dark chocolate, quinoa, kiwi, raspberries. Like I was the oxalate queen. I had no idea. And I suffered. It was bad. I had horrible fatigue and diarrhea for 6 weeks. Like, why did I stay on carnivore?
that's
What a
surprising
freaking masochist.
that you stuck it out. That's good
Yeah.
though, but that's a lot of time to not feel that
Yeah.
great, especially when you have little kids that you're taking care of
It
too.
was terrible. Yeah, it was bad. Thankfully, they were still so little and we had the little playpen. So I just like lock them in there and lay on the couch and die.
Oh my
But
goodness.
yeah, I would ease into it. If you're eating high oxalate fruits and vegetables, ease into it. Take 8 to 12 weeks. You will feel so much better and you won't do damage to your system.
Awesome. Good advice. Okay, let's talk about your book a little bit,
Okay.
which let me just say, and I already told this to you yesterday because we had a chat on Serena's channel, but I'm like, okay, Jenny, overachiever, because this is 2 books in one. I mean, you have the first half is Carnivore 101, essentially everything you need to know. And the second half is a cookbook that has a few more recipes than mine even. So that was very rude. It's an
I'm
amazing
sorry.
book. No, like it's
Thank you.
very impressive.
Thank you.
It is jam-packed,
Yeah.
so much info. So tell us about it.
I endeavored to write the encyclopedia of the carnivore diet. That's what I wanted to write because I feel like there's really not a ton of like how to do carnivore specifically books. Dr. Sean Baker has one. It's an excellent book, but that came out in like 2019, And I feel like between the YouTube channel and coaching people and all of my end-of-one experiments and stuff, I have learned so much in the past 3 years being carnivore. And I wanted somebody that was new to be able to come to carnivore and not go through all the crap and make all the mistakes that I did. So that was kind of the first thing. I also wanted it to be something that people that have been on carnivore for a long time could use though. If they're running into an issue, they could go to the troubleshooting chapter. If they want to do blood work stuff, there's a monitoring your progress chapter where it goes into like the different ranges you should be aiming for, where you can get the blood work, things like that. And then also recipes, I mean, I think most long-term carnivores are pretty boring. Like we eat the same thing all the time, but it's nice to throw in a recipe from time to time. So I wanted to do that as well. So yeah, that's Complete Carnivore. It's complete. It's everything you need to know.
It really is everything in there. So it's amazing. Yeah. And like I said, I'll link it below. It comes out November 4th, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, so this is pre-sale. Yeah, this video will come out still before it's launched. So it's
Yeah, it's
pre-sale.
pre-order time. Yep.
And like pre-sales are so important for an author. So you guys, if you're going to grab it before it actually
Yes.
comes out. If you get it on Amazon, it will, I'm assuming it's the same as what they did
Yep.
to
Same
mine. Like
deal.
it will lock you into that price. So if it goes on sale after you purchase it, you'll get the lowest price before
Correct.
release date, I believe,
Right,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll send you an information you can put in the description. Anyone that pre-orders gets a free download, a free exclusive PDF. This has a bunch of different guides in it, blood work, supplements, troubleshooting guide, and 2 exclusive recipes that are only in this. They're not in the book. So that's like a special thank you for anybody that does decide to pre-order.
Amazing. So yeah, guys, grab it to, help support Jenny, but also to help support the carnivore community because the better this book does, the more people that can see it. And those pre-sales and that first week of the book launching are so important to possibly get on the New York Times bestseller list, which is a whole kerfuffle in itself because it's not just based on sales, it's also based on different platforms and different locations and some other things that they don't even tell you. But the more people that buy them across the world, the better chance to like get on that list. But I already saw like on Amazon, you were a bestseller in one of the categories, right? There was something that popped
I
up.
think so. Something like meat, meat cooking or something like that, and keto cookbooks, I think.
Amazing. That's
Yeah, I
exciting.
know. I know. It's
So
very
you're a
exciting.
bestseller already.
Already, yeah. No, this I wrote this to help as many people as possible regain their metabolic health. We found so many positive things with carnivore, and more people need to try it. Even if they only do it for 3 to 6 months, and they get their health back under control, and then they're able to reintroduce some other healthy whole real foods. It has served its purpose. Just imagine if everybody in the United States was at just an optimal metabolic health baseline, just the amazing things that we could do as a society and the world.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm very hopeful for.
That would
And
be
I,
amazing because, yeah,
I
we're
think so.
clearly lacking, proper nutrition in most of the world.
Yes.
Um, so what's next for you? And like, do you events or even like projects? What are your future goals? What are you working on?
So I am going to be like coming up soon. I'm going to be at Hack Your Health. I'm doing a book signing and a cooking demo on the first day. I think at like 9:40 in the morning. It's like one of the first things, but honestly, I'm happy because then I don't have to worry about it
Get
all
it over
weekend.
with. Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be so much fun. That's going to be cool. And then right after Hack Your Health, I'm going on Dr. Lisa Wiedemann's low-carb cruise. So doing that for 5 days. And then it's just like book promotion stuff, going on different podcasts and TV shows and stuff like that. Long range, in February, I'm going to start my nutritional therapy practitioner training
Okay.
because you know how it is. People are like, well, if you don't have any letters after your name, I cannot listen to you, So I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna do the training. And then we're thinking about maybe having another baby. We're gonna see. Yeah, because I'm old and it's like my womb is shriveling and dying. And if I don't do it soon, it will never happen. So we're thinking about doing that as well. And then just, keep on trucking, keep doing my N of ones and creating content and all that.
That's exciting. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not doing Hack Your Health. It is amazing. So go if you're interested, but I will see you at Meatstock again in May.
I'm so
So
excited
that's
for me, Scott.
exciting. Okay, you said TV shows. Do you have other TV shows planned?
Right now, the only other one I have booked is what is it called? Chicago Daytime on WGN. I'm doing a cooking segment
Oh,
for
cool.
for a Chicago show. So you
Amazing.
know how it is with Victory Bell, like they'll put it out to people and we'll
Yeah.
see.
See
The
who
Tamron Hall
bites.
show, they came to me, like they would just email me about the Carnivore Kids stuff. So that was so random, but I'm down for doing anything. I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, call Jenny. She'll go on your show.
Hello. Do you need content? I am here.
Right? So awesome. Okay, well, let everyone know where they can find you on all the socials and all that.
Yeah, I mean, the main one is my YouTube channel, Jenny Mittich, Mitich, commonly misspelled last name. But yeah, you can find everything else there. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. That's about it for the socials.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting and being here. I'm glad everyone can see and get to know you and hopefully support your work. Go buy her book, you guys. I will link it below,
Thank
please.
you so much. This was so fun. I love you, Courtney.
I love you. All right. Bye.